So today we are treating Katie. Katie has a little bit of oily, congested skin. We're going to do a cleanse first and have a look at her skin deeper, but we're going to probably use high frequency, do a steam and extract, and use a little bit of desincrustation. So all of our facials, level 2 and level 3, and we're going to see how that looks afterwards. So we're starting off, we have to make sure that we're disinfecting the area. All of our products are wiped down with our disinfectant wipes, and we've made sure the whole area is sterile. So it means if we're touching off products, it's fine because everything's disinfected and cleaned. But if you do need to change your products or leave the area or touch your own skin or anything like that, that means you have to change your gloves or sanitize your hands. The best thing to do is change your gloves, because if you sanitize your hands, the alcohol stays on the gloves and then you put that straight on the client's face, and that can have a reaction with their skin. So we're going to start off with a gentle clean. So we always use the gentle clean to lift the makeup and as a first cleanse. First of all, we don't know her skin type. We've never worked with her before. So we need to see how her skin is. So we always go with a gentle clean. We do 2 pumps. So if you're just starting to learn your cleanse, you should always do long strokes so that it's nice and relaxing for the client. Working your way up the whole face, because people tend to forget to work as much on neck and chest or forehead. So we're going to work into the forehead, and now we're going to come down and clean the chin and clean the nose. I'm going to come off. Now if it feels like it's rubbing a bit, you should add water. We're finished anyways. We're going to do the clean off. So dab your hands before you touch the client. You don't want water running down their neck. Okay. I'm just going to give it another little wipe because it is a creamy cleanser, so it will be harder to lift off the skin, the excess residue. Don't forget, when you're talking to the client, you're explaining every step to them. I'm explaining it to you now, but in your facials, you should explain what's going on so they know what you're doing to them and why you're doing it. Off the skin. So you clean the skin. We're going to blot dry to make sure that there's no excess residue on the skin. Make sure there's no water so that you can have a correct look at the skin. Everything goes straight into the bin. You make sure you don't touch the bin with your hands. So now we're going to analyze her skin. So you can change your visor to your skin analysis glasses. So we're going to start off on the forehead. So we do a little pinch test to check for dehydration. We're also looking at open pores in the area, any congestion in the wine and dine area, any sort of fine lines. So Katie's showing that she has open pores. There's a little bit, if I look at the side, I can see there's a little bit of congestion underneath her skin. So we're going to go down the nose, also quite congested. it's more with blackheads than whiteheads. So that means it's her cleaning routine we need to have a look at. And we're going on to the skin, so we check for elasticity. So there's a good bounce back with the skin, so her elasticity is good, so her aging is good. There's a tiny little bit of scarring from the open pores. And as we go down onto the jawline, we'll see that there's a little bit of congestion underneath the skin. This can sometimes be created with excess hormones from either stress, or if you find that your clients have been excessively bad with sugar, sometimes that can create an insulin spike, which will release more testosterone into the skin. So down onto the chin, open pores, congestion, and a little bit of bumpiness under the skin. Remember to look at from the side so that you can see, because it'll tell you a lot more on the skin once you have a look from the side. There's a slight bit of redness to touch. When we touch your skin, there's a slight bit of redness. There's not sensitivity. She doesn't have reaction from products or anything. And there's a little bit of congestion. So after looking at Katie's skin, what we would say is that her skin is oily and congested, and that we want to clean out her skin and do a good exfoliation on it. And we'll stick with what we said. So we're going to do another cleanse, exfoliation, steam extract. Then we're going to do high frequency, and we'll probably finish off with maybe a little bit of galvanic, depending on our time. So every treatment you need to decide what's the priority for the client, because you have a certain amount of time, so you need to check what you need to do primarily on the client's skin and add in the treatments. So we know we have 45 minutes. So we are going to do the high frequency definitely, because that's going to dry out any breakouts. That's going to oxidize her skin, creating oxygen on her skin, helps her skin healing, helps with any breakouts, antibacterial, helping with excess of oil. So that's our priority. Maybe a little bit of lymphatic drainage also to clear any congestion underneath the skin. And then your third priority would be your galvanic to help break down the pH to extract easier. But I think what we'll do is focus on the first two first. So for the second cleanse, we're going to do deep clean. So deep clean is our glycolic wash. So this is a foaming wash, slightly foaming. And this is to break down the dead skin cells and help decongest her skin. So it is the oilier skin type that is suited this cleanser. This will be amazing to clear out her skin, give her skin a glow. So again, down, neck, chest, up behind the ears, you get breakouts there. Swipe in, swipe in, swipe in, forehead. And then we're going to clean out the chin, nose. I'm going to foam it up. This cleanser can feel a little bit tingly on the skin, but that's to be expected because of the glycolic in it. So we're going to go for it. Remember, long strokes. Don't take your hands off the skin. You don't want to create that rubbing on the skin. You want it nice and smooth and relaxing. So our next step is exfoliation. So we're going to use our Brighten exfoliator. This is a glycolic exfoliator with little bits of quartz in it to gently exfoliate the skin. Also, this is to get rid of the dead skin cells, clean the skin out, give your skin a glow. This is one of our most popular. Now, if you're using your exfoliator during your treatment, you have to make sure you're taking it off properly. So you use the tiniest amount on your skin, you apply it to the skin, and you're going to use a little bit more water to pick it up off the skin. So it doesn't drag along the skin. Okay. Even that little bit, you can see her pores are even less already on her nose. It's given a good clean out to the skin. So her blackheads don't look as bad. Now, with the exfoliator, what we want to do is rinse it off again. So we're going to... And this lifts the exfoliator without rubbing it into the skin again. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to steam. So we're turning on the steamer and turning it towards her. It'll take a few minutes to heat up, and then we're going to steam the face. Okay, so after the steam, what that's going to do is open up the skin so we can extract the pores and take out the blackheads and congestion much easier. So a good 10-minute steam is amazing for the skin. So you just have to make sure that you leave it on 10 minutes. It's also good to have a timer one, because then you can keep a track of exactly how long. So we're doing the extractions. So into a triangle, bend over the finger. Now the reason why you pull it back is because you want to be able to hold it without actually having to struggle to hold it. So this means that you do a little knot and then you're holding with the thumb. Okay, so we stretch the skin, we get underneath the little glands, and we rock. Now you can see all the sebum and dirt coming out. So if it's the right skin type, after you steam, it should be quite easy to do this. If someone's dehydrated, it'll be very hard because the pores will be tiny and there'll be a build-up of excess keratinization, which means that it's more blocked in. So there is also a good bit of whiteheads coming out with the blackheads. So we know this is product. So she's using a product with too much oil on her skin, so it's just clogging her pores. So you get in at the corner, stretch the skin, get underneath, and do a wiggle. You can use extraction tools, but clients find it much more uncomfortable and they can be more damaging to the skin if you're too heavy-handed with them. Okay, so you do have to warn your client that it will feel a bit uncomfortable, but most of the time clients won't mind because they'll want it all extracted. Don't worry about putting a little bit of pressure in. They'll tell you if it's too much. So we want to get into the corner of the nose, so stretch the skin, get under, and we'll do a wiggle. And make sure that you rock back and forth just until the blockages come out. You don't give up too early. So we're just doing the chin now as well. Okay. Now also, you can see here, it's not as blocked. So that shows it's definitely the product because her skin it's not making massively, excessively amounts of oil, because if it would, her chin would also be very blocked. Okay, so you work over the whole area, making sure it's all cleaned out. Okay. So what we want to do now is we've cleaned out the skin, but now we want to close the pores and get rid of excess oil. So now we're going to do high frequency. So high frequency, as you know from your facial electrics, is amazing for getting rid of breakouts, decongesting the skin, creating oxygen for healing, and getting rid of excess oil. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do a oxygenating cream on the skin. We have to make sure everything is ready beside us. That makes our lives easier. Mask brush and the gauze for her face. So we're applying the oxygenating cream to all the areas of congestion. Now you do not do tone before this because there will be some alcohol in the product, and if you put heat straight onto alcohol, it becomes flammable. So we're going to tone afterwards. Again, the same thing, you want long strokes, you don't want to be rubbing at the skin. Long, smooth, relaxing strokes. Okay. Up here. Okay, so I'm gonna change these gloves. The reason I'm changing the gloves is because I've touched her hair, which isn't sanitized. No offense, Katie. And we want to make sure to keep our area completely sanitized. Okay. So this creates distance between your high frequency electrode and your skin. And when you create distance, the gas that comes out of your high frequency device creates like oxidizing matter in that area. So it creates a kind of healing on the skin. It also creates like a little electrical bolt, which will dry out the oil and is antibacterial on your skin. So we grab our high frequency device, making sure that our electrode is in it. So we're going to place it on the skin. We're not going to start until it's fully in contact with the skin. We're going to explain to our client, it's going to feel like a mild tingling effect. It's not going to be uncomfortable, but if they do not like it, just let them know. So we're going to move it and turn it on. So you turn it on about a quarter of the way, that you hear a little bit of a buzzing with it. And you move it over the skin in circles. So what we're doing at the moment is we're making sure not to touch the client because we're going to take that electrical current away. I'm just going to work over the skin. So this is going to help with her congestion. It's going to dry out any excess oil. It'll get rid of the blackheads, the dirt that is built up within her skin, the congestion, and close her pores as well. So this is the neon gas that's in it. And that is the one, it's either neon or argon will be in your high frequency. And that is what is working on the skin. Also the heat is what dries out the skin to get rid of the excess oil. So you do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to make sure to work over the areas that she has breakouts as well. Now, what we need to do for 1 second is we need to adjust this to make sure we're getting nose. So we're going to make sure that we're turning on and off. So that's after about 3 to 5 minutes. We turn it off, then take it off, making sure not to do the other way around or you will give them a shock. We take off the gauze and throw it in the bin. You can see her skin, her pores look more refined because it's not full of the gunk within it and way less congested and inflamed. So looking amazing so far. So what we'll do now is we're going to do your lymphatic drainage. And then we'll do a mask to finish off. So with your lymphatic drainage, what we want to do is get the lymphatic system moving and your circulatory system moving. This will bring any inflammation down. This will drain the skin of any toxins that build up within the skin, especially when we're living in like big cities, you'll have a build-up of pollution in your skin. This is imperative for most skin types. You'll always use lymphatic drainage. So we're going to apply an oil onto the skin. This is going to give it some slip and glide. We're doing a thin layer. Because we don't want to clog up her skin. So just apply all over. And making sure on the neck and chest as well. Okay, so now we take our lymphatic drainage. So our lymphatic drainage is this one here. So it's a vacuum spray. So we wanted to make sure it's turned on and the button is how strong it should be or will be. So we're just going to test it on the skin to make sure that it's lifting it a little bit. You want a little bit of suction, but not too much. So I'm going to increase it. So we're always working towards our lymph nodes. So our main lymph nodes are behind our ear. So what we're going to do is we're going to work up, holding onto the skin, draining the lymphatic system and the circulatory system up behind the ear. So you do 3 swipes on each row. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the face. Making sure that you're lifting your finger off before you take it off, because you don't want to create suction while you're pulling the head off the skin. And we're going towards behind the ear, in the ear area. Also, we're going to help with any dark circles by bringing the vacuum suction up to the orbital bone and draining it. Okay. And we're also going to do the eyebrow area, because we want to, if you're getting heavy lids or a build-up of fluid around your eyes, this is perfect to drain it and to bring the puffiness or oedema down. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. This is actually also a great treatment for defining the skin, because if you maybe had a boozy night or you eat too much sugars, you'll have a little bit of fluid retention in your face that can lead to puffiness. And once you drain that away, it has amazing results for sculpting your face. And we're going to do the eye area as well. Okay. Just to decongest the nose. Okay, perfect. So we leave this back down. Now, to remove the excess oil, you're going to use a toner. Now, when we talk about toner, we don't talk about something that's stripping your acid mantle. We talk about rebalancing your pH. So what we use is just a gentle rose water. We're going to blot dry. And our next step will be mask. We don't do massage for your congested oily type, because you have to prioritize what you're using and the time you have. So if it was a dry type, we would bring in massage and leave out high frequency. So now we're going to do the charcoal mask. This is activated charcoal, coconut with kojic acid. This is perfect for her skin type because it will decongest and draw out the toxins or impurities using the activated charcoal. And then it will also brighten and hydrate her skin using the kojic acid. making sure that you're getting all areas evenly. Don't forget tip of the nose. Okay, so now we're going to let our client relax while we clean everything down and write up a prescription of what they should be using on their skin. So I'm going to put damp cotton wool, because it feels much nicer than dry cotton wool, over the eyes and leave them relax, and then we're going to clean up. So now we can take off the mask. So normally it's 10 minutes it's left on. Now, this mask is a little bit tougher to take off. Okay, so what we're going to do is another tone, just to get rid of any residue. So this is just rehydrating the skin with the rose water. Perfect. Now, as we have oily, congested skin, we're going to serum and SPF, not moisturize and SPF. So, serum we're going to use. Now, I've put out two options, either Aqua Plus, which is our hyaluronic acid, or Renewal, which is a hydrating glycolic serum. And I'm going to use that because her skin hasn't been exfoliated for a while. Her skin is nice and thick and juicy, so it needs a little bit of cleaning out every so often. And the Renewal serum will do that. So it's 2 pumps. And the last thing is our SPF. It's perfect for all skin types because it's light and doesn't clog the skin, gives it good protection, and also there's a little bit of a tint to it. Now, like new. All our nose is all decongested. Nice, plump and fresh. So now we will take our mirror, show the client their skin, and then we'll give them the prescription of what they should be using on their skin. And that's it.